Representative Filippi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am offering an amendment. The amendment I'm offering deals with privacy concerns, but it's far more broader. I won't do an introduction then. I move LC 004326/30. Hey, you guys.
Representative Filippi moves Amendment LC 004326/30. That is seconded by Leader Newberry, Whip Trillo, Representative Costa, Representative Giarrusso, Representative Morgan, Representative Riley, Representative Roberts, Representative Natalillo, Representative Chippendale, Representative Price, and Representative Lancia. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The privacy issues we're confronting I think are quite immense. The testimony we heard at Finance, and I'm not on Finance, but I was at the hearing, the director was emphatic about the technology that these gantries will have, about how much data they will be collecting and storing. One of his comments was that this statewide network of toll gantries will be able to determine whether someone in a pickup truck, or a truck subject to tolls, got off the highway to use the bathroom, or whether they were making a delivery based on the time. That raises profound privacy concerns. I didn't hear any testimony that this system of data acquisition would not be taking in information on our passenger vehicles. In fact, I don't see how this data system doesn't take in data on our vehicles, because if someone doesn't have an RFID tracker, the picture of their vehicle is going to be taken, and it's going to be determined whether or not they're a class 8 and above, or whatever future classes are told or not. I think he said there's going to be lasers, there's going to be cameras, there's going to be video cameras, license plate readers, and it's all going to be tracked inside this integrated statewide network of tolling. And our movement throughout this state will be tracked. And we can all imagine the privacy concerns that portends. Without privacy, sir, we lose our individuality. We lose our individual creativity. And if we believe our government is tracking our movements, it will deeply affect the psyche of every person in this state. And it'll turn us into cookie cutters. Cookie-cutter humans without diversity. Because at the core of privacy is individuality. This amendment does 4 things, Mr. Speaker. It says that data collected by the statewide network can't be transferred to any private entity other than those operating the toll. Our movement is no one else's business. Second, it says data shall not be transferred to law enforcement agencies of the state or federal government unless there is a judicial order or warrant. Third, it says that any data collected will be inadmissible in any civil action. Fourth, it says that non-tolled vehicle data shall be destroyed. Now, I called my friends at the ACLU and raised these issues with them. And they looked into it, Mr. Speaker. And upon their reasoned judgment, they have concerns as well. So much so, sir, that they issued a press release today calling for privacy safeguards to be introduced into this toll proposal. And I quote, second to last paragraph, "The ACLU is encouraging legislators to adopt language explicitly restricting use and access to the data solely for the purpose of addressing toll scofflaws, and that any data collected belonging to vehicles not subject to tolls will be deleted instantaneously." I've said all I have to say, sir. I think this is an important issue, and we need to do right by the people on this, sir. Thank you.
Chairman Keable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in opposition to this amendment. And let me begin by saying I salute Representative Filippi. I share his concerns with data collection in this day and age. I think he raises an excellent point. But for the same reasons I opposed his prior amendment, I oppose this one. This is really an issue that is best addressed as a separate bill. We do have a separate bill in. It's House Bill 7207 by Whip Edwards. It's currently pending in Judiciary, where Representative Filippi is a member. It will be heard in due time. And I also oppose this particular amendment because I think it has an unintended consequence, which I'm certain Representative Filippi could not possibly have been thinking of. But when I look at this, data collected shall not be transferred to a law enforcement agency without lawfully issued judicial order or warrant. I'm worried about an Amber Alert type of situation where, God forbid, we have a child in harm's way. These gantries in that scenario, God forbid, could prove very helpful in returning a child to safety. And for that independent reason, I also urge the members to vote this amendment down.
Representative Ucci.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I too must rise in opposition to this. I agree with the Representative Filippi's intent. As a matter of fact, you did a great job last year voting for House Bill 5220, which was the update of our Identity Theft Protection Act, which addressed the collection of data by state agencies, how long they have to keep it, the limitations on their use, and the fact that they have to destroy it. So what this bill does is it's redundant compared with the law that we already passed last year, and that became law and was signed by the governor. So I applaud your efforts, but this is not necessary. I urge you all to vote against this. Thank you.
Representative Carson.
Thank you, Speaker. I have a question for the sponsor.
Will you yield, Representative Filippi? He will.
Yes.
Proceed. Proceed.
Well, I have a statement and then a question. I drive over the Newport Bridge every day. In fact, I drive over it twice a day, and I go through the gantry, and they check my transponder. Is there any evidence that they're tracking me when I go over that bridge right now? Should I be concerned about that?
Well, I'm sure they are, but that's one toll. This is a statewide network of tolls. Once you go over that bridge, no one knows where you go. Here, I think it's much more intensive, so I think there's larger privacy concerns than that one toll booth on the Newport Bridge.
But suppose you drive on 95 and you only go through one toll.
Sure, that's a possibility. I don't know where you're taking your trip.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is we already have a situation in the state where my constituents drive over that bridge every day, and we've never been alarmed that our privacy's been invaded. I guess I don't feel that way. I just don't. I feel that why we're raising this now doesn't really make any sense to me. We should have raised it years ago when we put the gantries on the Newport Bridge, and I guess I'm sorry we didn't do that there. I guess I'm opposed to this because I think that there's nothing wrong with driving through the gantry, and I feel perfectly safe doing that.
Well, I assure you, Rep. Carson, that if I was in office when the gantries were put on the Newport Bridge, I would have raised this issue, and if we had a longer committee process, it would have been raised at that time, other than on the floor today. Thank you.
Representative Roberts.
Hi, I rise in support of this amendment. I just don't think that just because there's information being collected over the Newport Bridge already, I just don't think that makes it all right. I think that people's personally identifiable information can be compromised, and this is just not good. I don't agree with that. I'm sorry. I'm against that. Thank you.
Okay, there are no other lights. Clerk, unlock the machine. All in favor, please vote green. All opposed, red. Clerk, lock the machine. 15 in favor, 55 opposed. The amendment fails. Back on the act. Representative Moore.